Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to speak to those of you out there that are going through a lot of feelings of jealousy with their narc who has a new supply and is love bombing them and going all over town to all your restaurants and doing everything that you two had done together, right? Because that's what narcs do when they get a new supply. Like, nothing is sacred. They'll do the exact same thing with the new supply that they did with you. I know mine did. All the same restaurants, sitting at the same tables, even all the same hikes. I went on, and of course I couldn't help but look at the beginning, but I went on her social media, and the two of them are taking pictures in the exact same spot on the trail that me and my narc had pictures of. Like, he did everything so parallel and perfectly to the new supply that he had done with me. And how do you not get jealous of that? Because you miss you can see those pictures and you can remember the feelings that you had when he did that to you. And when you're in that moment, it's extremely hard not to feel the jealousy. It can be overwhelming, and you throw in a whole bunch of hurt in there and heartache in there and jealousy, and it's just it can be a really bad place to be. But I'm here to tell you that do not be jealous of the new supply, because they're blind right now. They don't see. They're sleeping. They're not awake. They don't know what's coming, because if you start to really think about it, they're going to feel heartache worse than you do, because this narc has now gotten just a little bit better at love bombing and isolating and then devaluing, and they get better at the routine. And so as they go through supply after supply, it's a cycle, and it ends up being, I think, worse for, let's just call it a victim instead. A victim and new supply are the same thing, and that's what they're going to get. They're going to someday be their victim, and they're going to get torn apart worse than you. So when you think about that, like, why would you be jealous of that, right? So you have to keep that in mind. When you see, and I know everyone always tells you, oh, don't look at the social media, don't look at that's humanly impossible unless you put yourself on a deserted island, especially with my narc. He's a big YouTuber, and his whole life was always on camera. So like a lot of narcs are, that can't be very shocking to anybody, but yeah, you can't be, if you always keep in mind that you don't want to be jealous of the person that's going to be one day falling apart from heartache, right? So when you find yourself in your throes of jealousy because he's out there with his new supply, because you start to think that, oh, he found this girl, or a lot of you out there, women, that and that's the one that he'll be a great husband or girlfriend with. He'll be perfect in that relationship, but he couldn't be like that with me. And you start to have those feelings, like as if it's going to be different with them, that it wasn't with you, and that's what you're jealous of. But remember, we are dealing with narcissists. And you have to know that this is all about fuel for them. It has nothing to do with love, right? It has to do with a fuel source. And he found someone who has fuel, and that's it. And he's going to discard that person as soon as they run out of fuel, right? And so you don't want to be jealous of that. It's a thing that you're going to have to constantly tell yourself and constantly remind yourself that it's inevitable that he will one day leave her once he depletes her of fuel, And so you're not going to be jealous of that. And when that happens, you're going to have your reserves replenished and you'll be able to live a happy life. Right? So don't think for a second that the narcissist will be any different with the new supply once they're out of fuel. He's not going to find a happy ending with the new supply. He will not. They're narcissists. Happy endings for them don't exist. They will always self-destruct. They will always need fuel. And there's no such thing. I consider myself a little bit of an extreme empath, right? Even though I didn't become a nurse or anything. But I had a lot of fuel. And that's probably why I lasted 7 years with my narc. So, I have to stop looking at their social media. I know I have to stop doing that. But I still have to chime in every now and then because I think I'm looking for, has it all gone to shit yet for them? It's as if I'm looking for that. And I know that's not healthy, but, I'm not doing that because I'm jealous or I want them back or anything like that. I think I'm looking for reassurance that that I was just a supply source for him, and so is she, and he's a narcissist, and he will eventually self-destruct the entire thing. So don't be jealous. I just wanted to help some of you out there that are really second-guessing themselves as to, they're happy with the new supply, and you're so jealous and hurt, and it's you have to stop yourself, because that new supply is going to one day run out of fuel, and they're going to get destroyed and discarded just as you did. So don't be jealous of that. Don't be jealous of their temporarily, and it is very temporary, happiness, because it is a facade, right, that you're looking at right now when you're looking at that new supply and their happiness. It's all fake. You know it's fake because the narcissist is painting and is mirroring them perfectly, to make that love bombing perfect. It is so funny. My narc left me, and his new supply was 16 years younger than me, and she was in yoga school, and I'm really good at yoga actually, and and I do a lot of fitness, but I kind of just did it privately always for me. I never put myself on YouTube, certainly doing any fitness things. But, and my narc, when we were together, he would make fun of people that did yoga, and figured that, always bragged about them being certified doing yoga, because certification in yoga is, just recognition for that particular school that writes their own rules type thing. Anyway, I'm sorry. He really just made fun of all these people that talked about their certification. But then his new supply was in school for yoga, and he thought it was so great that she knew the names of all the poses. But he did the exact opposite to me. He said that none of that is important, and it's So, and the reason I'm telling this story is because he mirrored me for the way I did yoga. I just did yoga to feel good. I didn't know the names of all the poses. I didn't know all the perfectness of it. And he mirrored me, saying that's exactly the way it should be, right? But then he goes with the new supply with yoga, and he is boasting about how she knows the name of every of them and all the poses, and how important that is, and how great she is for that. So it's so clear to me now that a narcissist will simply mirror you perfectly during the love bombing to make it that much better. at the love bombing stage. So it's all fake. It's always fake. Like, it's all a facade to love bomb you and rope you in, and it's not real, right? And something that's not real like that will always fall apart. The new relationship that he has with the new supply will fall apart because the foundations that they're built on are not real. So don't be jealous of that, right? And remind yourself that this is a narcissist that you're dealing with, and they don't have emotion. So if anything, you need to feel sorry for the new supply because she fell victim to someone who wants nothing but fuel and is an empty shell of emotion, and they have been suckered. And they're in for a world of hurt after she runs out of fuel and she gets discarded. So don't get jealous, guys. Okay? Sorry I kind of ranted and rambled a little bit there. But I really appreciate you guys listening to me, and I really appreciate your comments. Be sure to subscribe and help us build our community here, because we all need help. We all need help from each other, because we're the only ones that understand what narcissism is like when you're the old supply, and after the relationship's done, and the things that you go through and the thoughts that you have, we all know that it's different, right? It's not a regular relationship that had ended. So yeah, just subscribe and come back, and I can't wait to read your guys' comments as we all find our tribe and heal post narcissist.